Welcome everyone, my name is Comet, and in this video I want to talk about the mid lane meta as well as my new champion pool for the mid lane, because now I have played quite a lot of games on the patch 13.23 and I'm very confident in the characters that I have found that are very useful for me. But I want to share as well a lot of knowledge so that you guys can understand um, what the meta is, why it is the meta, and also how to deal with it. So let's begin. First off, what characters are very popular at the moment and why? In the Road to Diamond that I'm doing at the moment, I started with an account that was unranked. So I have managed to play through Iron, Bronze, Silver, and Gold, and now I am hovering around Platinum and Emerald MMR. The account itself is still Gold 2, something like that, but I am playing with people that are much higher levels. And because I have seen this wide spectrum of ranks, I can safely say that um, people are playing Orianna and Syndra quite a lot, because these are characters that usually are not easy to lose lane with. You know, these Syndra especially is the ultimate turret hogger in the game, because once she's under turret, it's almost impossible for someone to dive you, because you can just press R and then Zhonya's instantly, and then they will die most likely due to the high damage that you have. That way you are safe from any gank, or from most ganks, or from most dives. But not only this, they can wave clear very fast, and they have a lot of damage as well in team fights and in lane. So these two characters is something that people are playing quite a lot, especially because since they can wave clear so fast, they can counter the split pushing meta that is going on at the moment for the top lane, as well as the early game meta that is going on at the moment in the bot lane. There's been a lot of Jeans. I see a lot of Jeans, Varus, Dravens, and Lucians in the bot lane, and I have seen a lot of Yones in the top lanes, Fioras, Atrox, as well as Ilawis, and a lot of this type of stuff that want to either split push in the late game or smash you in lane, and if possible, both. So if you pick a wave clear character, you can hold the lane long enough so that your team can come back. And this is usually what I have found myself doing. I have found myself holding the lane so that my team can come back from inting, because they do int quite a lot. But because you can hold the lane long enough, there's no issues at all. Um, However, because these characters are so popular, you need a counter for them, you know. But let's mention all of the characters that I usually that you see often in rankings at the moment. So, Syndra and Orianna are some of the characters for sure. In the lower levels, there's Lux, and in general, anything that can wave clear fast. And also, on top of this, you tend to find a lot of at least at these levels, you know, once you go into Diamond, Master, and Challenger, it's gonna be a bit different. But aside from the wave clear characters, you tend to find also a lot of Sylas, a lot of Akali, Sylas, Akali, and some Jasuas. As well as the usual assassin like Fizz, Talon, etc. But usually is Sylas and Akali. So, if you want to make a champion pool around this meta, you will need to pick stuff that can deal with these four characters, as this is like the elite four of the current patch: Akali, Sylas, Syndra, and Orianna. And I have found out that two characters that can deal very hard and very easily with these elite four are Nico and Taliyah. This is the ultimate anti-meta counter, because you can blind pick them, and they will do well against any of these, and I will explain why. So, because these wave clear characters focus on basically clearing the wave as hard as possible and then hogging turret, or just holding the lane in place. With Talia, you can push the lane just as hard as them, but they will not be able to match your roams. So you can just counter push the lane and then roam as soon as you can, and they will not be able to match you. And this is ways that I have found to get advantages myself. Now, for Neeko, it's a bit different. Neeko can straight up kill these characters in lane, but you will need to be really good at controlling waves. In my case, I prefer roaming a lot with Talia because people would, especially junglers, my junglers will do so many stupid ganks that it's just like even if I win lane, it makes me so desperate to see that someone is dying 5 times because they tried to counter gank when the top laner was pushing. Like, man, don't do that. But because of that, I decided to go with Talia because I can just hold the hand of the jungler. Literally, these junglers will not even take a fucking dragon unless you tell them. So with Talia, I am using these to shot call the players. But if you are in a duo with a jungler, you can straight up go with Neeko and focus solely on winning lane, and she will do that very effectively because you can push just as hard as them, but your abilities go through the minions and you can hold them in place long enough to burst them down. They will not be able to do anything to you. And with the Zhonya's, you can counter both Orianna and Syndra wave clear. So I feel like these two characters do well against them. Now, against Akali and Sylas, it's a bit different. Against Akali and Sylas, if you are Talia, you can straight up stomp them in lane because they will not be able to get to you unless they dash. And if they dash, they will get stunned for a bit, and your damage is high enough to just straight up kill them. So Talia is a lane dominant against them, and Neeko is even like he can stomp lane even harder due to the abilities being able to reach them much easier than with Talia. So for example, you can poke them through minions, and there's nothing they can do about it. With Talia, you will have to position correctly, but with Neeko, you can straight up attack them through minions, and nothing they can do about it. So this is the ultimate anti-meta counter. The best part is that you can blind pick them as well, I feel. They might struggle against very long range characters such as Xerath, but you will not see them that often, so you should be fine. And then, if you want to play the meta, that's good as well. You can play Syndra and Orianna. Myself, I have tried Orianna, and that's the character that I play from the meta characters because I feel like she can, especially against melee compositions or low range compositions, that's a free win. And Syndra is the same thing. For Akali and Sylas, I personally do not play them because I find them a bit harder for me at the moment. I come from a very long break from League of Legends, so my mechanics are still not that on point. But eventually, I might pick them up. At the moment, I don't pick them. But if you are someone that feels confident, go on because these characters can stomp almost all the matchups when played correctly. There's a reason why they are meta, and there's a reason why even challengers are playing a lot of Sylas, a lot of Akalis, and that's why you see a lot of Syndras and Oriannas, There's a reason why. There's also a reason why you see some Neekos. Neekos is mostly for if you have a jungler as duo or if you're in a composition. That's why you see Neeko quite often played in pro play. And Talia, I feel like it's more situational in pro play because it requires a good composition. But in solo queue, she is just so easy to pick because people do not respect your roam. Simple as that. Aside from this, though, you might find the eventual Yasuo, the eventual Yone, Fizz, Katarina, and stuff like that you tend to see in these lower levels. And to counter them, you can go for something like the Vex, Vex is really good into these assassins, or just you can just pick Oriana as well. Oriana can do well, especially now that you can go for the crown. With the crown, the new item, or not new, but the item that you pick on her, you are just unkillable, and there's nothing. In fact, I was in a feast match on my previous game, and he threw the shark at me. He was ahead, by the way, and that shark barely popped the crown shield. Um, is insane. The amount of damage reduction that it has is just insane. Um, so you can just pick Oriana into anything, and you will do just fine. However, I also have another character that I really like to play myself, which is Aurelion Sol. I feel like he can deal with these wave clear characters, not just Syndra and Oriana, but also, for example, Azir and Nivea, even Ari. I think Aurelion Sol can do well into them um, because he will straight up outscale them. And with the ultimate, you can outrange them as well. The ultimate will hit from downtown, you stomp them in place, and then you kill them with your high damage that they cannot match. So Aurelion Sol for me, if I'm feeling or if I have counter pick, I just pick him because it's a free win or a free scaling that you have against wave clear characters. Against Assassin, like I mentioned, you can go with Vex, and if you need an AD character, Yone is by far the strongest AD character of the mid lane at the moment. Or you can just go with Jace. Those two are Jace is much weaker than Yone, as but it still works. It's not bad. It's actually the best after Yone. um, and what could counter Yone and Jace, especially Jace, um, long range. And guess who has long range? Oriana and Syndra. Now, maybe not a counter per se, but in the current meta, the way that it's being played, yeah, they are much stronger than these characters. So yeah, for my champion pool, I have chosen therefore first off Taliyah as my blind pick, then Oriana as just my general character to have fun. I have also chosen to play Vex because she can counters these engaged characters very hard. Then I need Yone as my AD character. And finally, Aurelion Sol if I want a variety or just stomp Syndra, Oriana, or Azir quite hard. Because Aurelion Sol really stomps them, and there's no coming back for them because you outscale them and outrange them in the later stages of the game. So that's it for me, and this is also that's it for my champion pool. This is the champion pool that I'm gonna be using from now on until the new patch or the next patch or until the next season if there's no significant changes. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. I feel like this is a champion pool that makes me feel very confident about. I think there's no particular holes in it. I could have gone for Akali and Sylas, especially Sylas. I think Sylas is so strong, but with Sylas and Akali, you have to hit all of your abilities if you want to do damage, and I am not comfortable in doing that really at the moment. Once I get better, I will be picking them for sure, but not yet. That's still still a bit till I get to that point. So for now, once again, Vex, Taliyah, Oriana, Yone, and Aurelion Sol. That is my champion pool. I hope this was useful to you. I know that there's a lot of people who wonders what the meta is, but those characters are nice. I will also give a shout out to Zoe. I think she is strong and with a bit of and if you're comfortable with her, she can definitely perform well. And aside from that, though, you could go for a Twisted Fate. but I will leave Twisted Fate for more advanced players in my eyes. But that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Comet, and I hope this was useful to you. Peace!